Greg, thank you. And yes, indeed, the night session about to get underway here in Charlotte with the Duke Blue Devils, the 1 seed out of the Austin bracket, taking on the MEAC champion Delaware State Hornets, with the winner of this game taking on Stanford or Mississippi State this Sunday. And the Duke Blue Devils under coach Mike Krzyzewski, a 1 seed for the 9th time in school history with sharpshooter J.J. Redick. Meanwhile, the Hornets of Delaware State had that last second victory in the MEAC final to make it to the NCAA tournament for the first time. Greg Jackson, in his 5th year as the head coach, what a turnaround effort he has brought to the school there in Dover, Delaware. His starting 5 of Hunter and Roundtree, Blunt, Williams, and Darren Shine. Meanwhile, for the Duke Blue Devils, 25-5, and many will tell you, Coach K and his many decorated seasons, maybe this the finest coaching season of all by Coach K. His team won the ACC tournament a week ago, and they'll start with Sheldon Williams and Shav Randolph. Sean Dockery is back. Billy Packer, Redick, and Ewing in the backcourt. Dockery not only back, he's starting. And tonight we can see history tied. John Wooden had 47 wins in his legendary career in the tournament, that is. Coach K has 64, and tonight with a victory he would match none other than Dean Smith as the winningest coach in the history of the NCAA tournament.
Jim, I will point out, taking nothing away from that record attempt, is back in the days that Coach Wooden coached, you only played 4 games to be the champion. Now you play 6. So that's not taking anything away from Mike at all. But
it's totally not a fair comparison with Coach Wooden, because you're talking a 32-team field,
right?
You know, and it does make a difference. But here we go with the Duke Blue Devils and Delaware State
matching up in a zone situation. Hunter down there, very active right off the bat on Williams. Roundtree, Redick. Redick very seldom guards a guy who he's quicker than.
Shav Randolph puts up the shot, and it spins out.
Good defensive effort, first time down the floor by Delaware State.
It was Blunt with the rebound. And the Hornets at 19-13 on the year. They weren't afraid to play anybody this season. Wait till you hear about their schedule. And in many cases, they were close against big-time programs. They try the baseline pass, is picked off by Ewing.
You can see right away the strategy by Coach Jackson is to pull the Duke big men outside to have to guard defensively in areas where they normally are not.
How about Sean Dockery making it back at least a week earlier than anyone expected? And that's a goaltend call. They'll count the basket. Hunter swatted it away on the way down.
This is a smart play by Sheldon Williams. He goes to the side of the zone opposite of where Hunter is. Much smaller defensive man there, and Blunt goes right over it.
Basket interference is the accurate call on it, so 2-0 Duke. And Duke putting up a lot of pressure. Broken. It's Shine into the arms of Roundtree, and he's fouled by Williams.
You don't see Williams foul much in those block attempts. Roundtree used that upper body. Good job on his part.
Delaware State is a university out of Dover, Delaware, with a student body count of about 3,500. This is the first program to compete in national championship event in the history of the school. Any program in their athletic department to compete in a championship, national championship event. Roundtree buries the first. He'll have one more.
And with pretty good lineage at the school. His father, an outstanding player there. Number 13 all-time scorer. The fourth all-time rebounder. Jim, I was really impressed with that offensive maneuver. Sheldon Williams, a great shot blocker, number 1 in the ACC, normally handles that type of attempt.
They're putting up pressure with Duke near midcourt. Now they back off. Here's Sean Dockery again with an MCL tear about a month ago. Many thought it would be next week as he rifles the pass in. Last touch by Delaware State. They were hoping Sweet 16 that Dockery would return, but here he is for the start of the NCAA.
He's a tough kid. It's a nice matchup defense that Delaware State's playing. And so far it has Duke just a little bit confused.
Redick right back to the inbound. It's Dockery stepping up. His first shot in a month, and he gets it from 3.
And has he improved as an outside shooter? It's just unbelievable. Nice strategy here by Mike Krzyzewski. Wants to keep the tempo of this game moving.
Well done on the break in the press, but Duke takes it away. They had the shot inside. Ewing back to the corner. Dockery will bring it out.
Duke loves to send men out to the corner to look for the three. Randolph gets a bye with a big push.
Dockery again, another three. Yes, indeed. Welcome back.
Jim, that young man took 500 shots every morning in the summer and 500 shots every afternoon. That's why that form is so improved.
Look at the Hornets, though. Break the press, and it's Shine with the bucket.
We're talking about a team that only averages those 62 a game. They do not want to get in a run-and-shoot game with Duke.
And a reach in on Shine.
Tough break for Shine because he was right where he's supposed to be. Dockery turned into him.
Darren Shine out of Augusta, Georgia, 5'9" senior, and cousin of former Seton Hall player Ty Shine, who starred in the NCAA tournament 5 years ago. Billy, we were there to see it.
Oh yeah, the sensational game against Temple. Tommy Amaker's team. Isn't that interesting when you think Tommy Amaker at Seton Hall? Dockery out, Melchione in.
Yeah, Ty Shine played for Tommy Amaker, the ex-Duke star, when Tommy was at that time coaching Seton Hall, and now his cousin, or Ty Shine's cousin, Darren, going against Duke. Melchione's again come in, and Williams will head to the line.
They're throwing right over the top, and Hunter says he used his elbows to get some room. No kidding. That's what Sheldon Williams does. But they're throwing over the top of that matchup zone and puts Hunter in a bad spot. He's got to be very careful from foul standpoint.
That foul call on Terrence Hunter, who returns to his hometown of Charlotte.
He committed 59 fouls on the year, Jim, but what's interesting, he has not fouled out of the game. He will be tested tonight if they're going to continue that kind of a defensive maneuver against Williams.
Sheldon Williams, who made all ACC this year in this surprising run by Duke. Many people didn't see it coming, didn't have the forecast for this to be ACC tournament caliber Duke squad this year, but they've done it again.
They were picked fourth preseason. Of course, there's some pretty good teams picked ahead of them, but great accomplishment on their part.
They drive in, and again, Williams affects the shot. That was Aaron Williams trying to drive on the big man.
#1 rebounder and shot blocker in the ACC. Set Duke records last year with 111. He's got great timing.
Already with 2 blocks at the start of this game. Go back into Sheldon with the nice touch.
Jimmy's too big in there, and they're getting caught behind him. And Hunter's got to be very, very careful. So far, Shine's doing a good job breaking down the press with a dribble.
This young man with the ball hit the winner to advance this team into the NCAAs, Aaron Williams.
And here's that strategy. Hunter bringing Shavlik Randolph out.
Shine takes middle, bounces it inside, and a dunk by Hunter. Well done.
Shine has broken down the defense, Jim, whether it's full court pressure or whether it's in a half-court set. Duke has not stopped his dribble penetration. Again, over the top.
And Roundtree was holding on.
I don't know about this. Let's see if it's not a push. We'll see. Was it? Yeah.
They call it on.
Jim, the man taking the ball out of bounds, is always a threat. Watch and see how Duke executes here. Right out to Dockery by Ewing, who got it back from Reddick. Good offensive maneuver.
Delaware State with the starters on the floor, while Duke has brought in Reggie Love, number 30, for the first time, as well as DeMarcus Nelson, the freshman, number 21. So far, J.J. Reddick without a field goal attempt. 6 points by Dockery, 6 by Sheldon Williams.
Hunter getting 2 touches on the inside. At least takes 2 seconds off the clock. Now again, Williams should set up the side opposite Hunter and play against the smaller man.
Get it back in. They feed Williams again, short with the baby hook.
And here's the man that has been somebody Duke hasn't answered yet. Shine has been able to penetrate off the dribble. Probably surprising Coach Jackson how Williams can go out and play one of his bigger men away from the basket.
Blunt gets it back, kicks it outside to Hunter. Hunter on the drive, the floater, and it's charge.
That's his second. Good help by Love coming from the weak side.
Hunter, a product of Independence High School here in Charlotte. He would have liked to have had a chance to take all the allotment of tickets that went to Delaware State, they said, but they couldn't give him 350, nor could he pay for them all. So.
Right. I was thinking when they were saying that I was thinking he needed 30 tickets. He used about 350.
Yeah, I can't quite do that. But he's got a huge following here and a lot of support as he's come home here in his senior year to the NCAA tournament, bringing his school with him. Their first time ever in the NCAA. So Nelson called for that.
Good footwork by Williams to stay in front. Mike Krzyzewski going to that bench early. He's got Ewing sitting down. I mean, he's got the Reddick sitting down. Javlik, Randolph, and Dockery in that starting lineup.
Duke feeling whole again with Dockery back. The 8-man rotation. 3-point shot goes, and that's Joshua Blunt, the MVP of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference tournament.
Spreading things out, and so far dribble penetration has cost Duke 2-on-1 and 3-on-1 situations.
Melchione tried to match it, and here come the Hornets. Shine looks, gives it up, Roundtree, and it's a 2-point game.
Great break. Mike Krzyzewski going to go back with that starting group again. You don't see J.J. Reddick sit on the bench very often early in ball games.
Over to Melchione. He'll step in. And Roundtree has it.
Well, you never leave the man that's got the ball in his hands, particularly within shooting range. Delaware State was lucky there. Melchione, a wide open shot from 10 feet.
Delaware State was 7 unanswered.
And doing this with Hunter on the bench.
And a foul here on Duke. Talking about that MEAC championship game, it was Saturday, March the 11th, setting up in the end in the final against Hampton. Shot was off the mark. It lands in the hands of Aaron Williams. Puts it back up and in with 1.6 seconds. And Delaware State makes history.
Jim, they made history 4 times this year with buzzer beater shots. That was just one of them, the most important one, obviously.
They had 5 wins in all in the last 2 seconds. Buzzer beaters or otherwise just outside of a buzzer.
Unreal.
Amazing. But they go through their conference regular season, win it with a 14-4 mark, and then in the conference tournament, push first. Going against Duke. It's going on Randolph. They beat Bethune-Cookman, South Carolina State, and then Hampton, a team that made a lot of noise in the NCAAs 4 years ago.
I don't know what Fleetwood's doing. He's the guy that drew the foul, and he's going back on defense. What? Well, this is an interesting offensive maneuver. He throws it all the way in the backcourt. That's interesting, huh? Yeah, I don't know why Javlik Randolph didn't go back there and guard him. That way you'd be playing, you know, 3 on the inside, take away that long pass.
Aaron Fleetwood is out of the state of North Carolina. That's Bruce Davis giving it up, and the shot ties it.
What you have right now is, and I think this is great strategy, Coach Jackson is taking the man that can best dribble penetrate against the guy guarding him and taking him out on the perimeter.
Tracy Worley
Triple team.
Banks it home to tie it, and a foul against the Hornets. Foul called on Bruce Davis. CBS Sportsline keeps you on top of all the men's NCAA tournament action. Get real-time bracket updates and expert picks for each and every first-round game. It's all at cbssportsline.com. Inbound pass nearly taken away. Reddick, who's back in, had it for a moment, and a timeout called by Fleetwood, and it'll be Delaware State ball out of the timeout.
3 red shirts on the floor, 1 white shirt. Who wants it more?
Coach Jackson told us yesterday, I promise you, we're going to play hard. Jim Nance and Billy Packard, Delaware State has scored the last 9 in this game.
Jim, with this alignment, look for a long pass. There it comes.
It's up to Roundtree. And instead of challenging Randolph, he'll let this team reset. Bruce Davis has it outside. Their 6th man.
That was a weak toss, but it was a good alignment to go ahead and go for that home run ball.
Shot up and the Hornets 11 unanswered, and a first lead ever in the NCAA tournament here in their first appearance. Duke has been held scoreless for 4 minutes. Ewing dumps it. Randolph is hacked. Sunday it's spring break on CBS, except this year it's not safe to go in the water. Be warned. Spring break, shark attack. Sunday at 9/8 Central.
Jim Fleetwood, who's also from Raleigh like Shavlik Randolph, gave him a little piece of his mind on that particular play. Of course, Randolph with a great reputation in high school. Got all the accolades.
Williams back in. Worley was the man who fouled him. Chad Randolph with one more free throw to tie it as Duke ends a 4-minute drought. Delaware State is on an 11-1 spell to lead here over the #1 seed.
Good job by Fleetwood in traffic. Now here's been the problem for Duke. Delaware State takes the man outside that can best handle dribble penetration and then breaks his man down to set up numbers for his ball club.
Nice. There it is
Beautiful
again. Pass, and the shot is made by Aaron Williams.
If you cannot stop a man from breaking you down off that dribble like that, he's always going to create the numbers in his team's favor.
Dockery to Williams, doubled up and fouled.
And Jim, this is being done without Hunter on the floor.
You're just joining us. That's right. Delaware State leads Duke as the Hornets have hit their last 6 shots. And 7 different players have scored for them with that swarming defense at the other end.
Here we go. 2, 3, 4. A quadruple on 1. That means that Duke's got somebody open, but Shavlik Randolph can't get out of traffic. Fortunately for Duke, he gets fouled. But 4 on 1. Heavy play defensively. Jim, let's point out something about Delaware State. They took the ultimate journey early in the year. It's not like they haven't played against some good teams. Illinois, Texas El Paso, Arizona State, Marquette, Michigan State, Northwestern, and Michigan. They were 2-9 outside of conference, but it sure should toughen up any kind of team that goes on a road like that.
That last foul was on Aaron Fleetwood. Some of those games were closer than you might have thought. Being on the road, they played at Marquette, for example, and lost by 6. 7-point loss at Northwestern.
What will be interesting, Mike Krzyzewski is seeing what's happening right here. Here's another breakdown with the dribble.
3-point shot off the mark, and Williams goes up for it. It's Daniel Ewing. Ewing has not attempted a shot from the floor, nor has Reddick. Almost 9 minutes into the game. Ewing for the first time launches a 3, and he's on.
Good job by Shavlik Randolph. Felt the pressure coming, kicked it out right away.
Duke breaks a field goal drought of 5 minutes, 25 seconds with that 3. Ewing is down. Davis takes the lane, doesn't get the roll. And again, Williams with the sure hands, but almost throws it away.
Jim, Duke went 11 minutes against Georgia Tech without a score at field goal as well. Oh, Docky, how about that play? Oh, that was Ewing.
Ewing with back-to-back baskets.
Some play.
And Duke's back in front, 20-16.
Now here's that matchup again. Williams is going to have to go out and prove that he can be a guard defensively. Can he do it? And look at how far away it takes him from shot blocking ability if he has to go out there and guard Fleetwood.
Aaron Williams driving, sets it up with Fleetwood, puts back, goes. Basket by Williams.
Bad block out by Duke.
Well, yesterday at practice, Coach Greg Jackson of Delaware State explained that to you, how they were going to do that. And take Sheldon Williams way away from the basket.
Now, Sheldon Williams does do a good job, but he's up against a guy that's a superior ball handler. Can Reddick get off his first shot?
There it is, short of the mark. And a foul over the back called on Randolph.
What's happening, Jim, is when you can beat your man off the dribble, it sets up 2-on-1 situations down in the paint. And this is what's happened throughout the course of this game. Good dribble penetration. You got a 2-on-1, and then you hit the open man for the layup.
Billy, that's the second foul on Randolph, so he's down.
What may happen here, and you know that Mike Krzyzewski doesn't want to break and say, you know what, these guys are breaking us down off the dribble. Let's go back in and play a tighter defense at half court and not go out and try to trap these guys. Dockery and Shine now, and he beats them.
Shine past Dockery.
And he beats
open man to tie it. Slam dunk, Tracy Worley. And
it is a terrific technique that Coach Jackson is using, and Duke has not been able to stop it yet. There's a hold on Williams.
Coming up, singular at the half. Greg and Clark and Seth get you caught up in all the tournament news and have a live look at all the action going on in the NCAA tournament, plus the singular Naismith update. That's all coming up on singular at the half. That was actually Joshua Blunt with the dunk at the other end to tie this game at 20. He has 5 points. Reddick goes to the line.
Jim, you know, Coach Krzyzewski's a brilliant basketball mind, but sometimes in life, you have to take your ego and say, you know what, they're killing us off this dribble penetration. We better pull back and start playing solid defense as opposed to going out and trying to pressure them, because they haven't proven, and that would be against everything he stands for with this team. But so far tonight, his guys have not been able to match up against dribble penetration.
Took Reddick 10 minutes and 39 seconds to get on the board as he hits both ends of the 1-and-1.
Now, see, Melchione, he can't stop Blunt dribble penetration. They've got the advantage at a lot of positions when they pull these big men out. Williams have a tendency out here to pick up a cheap foul, too.
Roundtree out near midcourt.
There it is.
Yeah, Williams
there
with
it
the
is.
knee.
I think that Coach K is going to have to pull his horns back in.
That's 2 on Williams, 2 on Randolph, who will return. DeMarcus Nelson also coming back into the game with 2 fouls.
You can get thick-headed about this thing, but they still are going to go out there. Probably got a little better matchup right now, but Shavlik Randolph will be the guy they'll pick on this time. And here it is. This is fun to watch.
They'll pick on him and they'll work on him. Try to draw that 3rd foul.
See, Ewing's on Shine, so Shine stays down inside.
3-pointer. Rebound Hornets. Basket by Worley.
And when you're spread out like this, you have a very difficult time because they always have the numbers of getting on the defensive glass. Good backdoor cut.
Reddick all the way back out. Where's it going? It's going against Duke. They call the charge on Reddick, who is hot.
And you know what? It's starting to get to him. Now, another thing I want to point out, Jim, this is a North Carolina town. They despise the Blue Devils. So basically what Delaware State has here is the crowd, the home crowd, in their favor.
Well, all the North Carolina ticket holders, and there are a great many with the Tar Heels also here in Charlotte, having won this afternoon, and many of them coming back here tonight. They have put all of their support behind the underdog 16 seed, and they just turn it over right there.
Well, that really didn't need to be a turnover because without question, Shavlik Randolph was beaten off the dribble. Now, can you grind it out and win anyway if you're Duke? Maybe. But it'd be a lot easier to say, okay, let's see what this team can do if you pull back defensively.
Kaheem Broadus has come in for the first time, and he tried to get there to close in on Reddick, but he fires the 3 up and in over him anyway.
There goes a home run pass available. Yeah, how much room does he need to get a shot off? Not much. Another, look at this.
Shine all the way, just too strong on the layup. He had freed himself. He had the open layup.
Now, that wasn't Duke defense. That was just Shine not realizing he'd be that wide open.
Nelson to Love to the line. Delaware State shooting 59%. Reddick's 3 puts Duke in front.
What is greater than? Greater power. Greater grip. greater innovation.
Jim Nantz, Billy Packer, what a spirited start by Greg Jackson's Delaware State team. Before he took over 5 years ago at this school, he was the coach at North Carolina Central University, not even, 5-10 minutes away from the Duke campus.
Absolutely. A school at one time coached by a man that I think was one of the great gentlemen in the history of basketball and one of the most brilliant minds, John McClendon, a Hall of Famer, passed away. But of all the men that I've ever talked to in basketball, he certainly would rank about the most thorough of knowledge of basketball, innovative techniques of anybody that's ever lived or been involved in the game.
So Greg Jackson was coaching right in the same town, just a short drive away from Duke. And when he first took the job, the very first day, he met with Mike Krzyzewski, who gave him a little talk about, being a head coach and philosophy he shared with Coach Greg Jackson, and now they meet. Drive it in, the shot. What a move by Broadus.
It really is a move by Coach Jackson, because what he did is say, okay, who's Randolph guard? You take him outside. The other fellas move out on the perimeter so that there's no help inside, and you just break them down with a dribble.
To the corner. Nelson driving, lost it, going in, gets it back, and gets the easy basket.
Powerful, powerful freshman who loves to go to that glass. But here we go again. Now you see what Mike Krzyzewski did. He changed to put Reddick out there, but then right away, Greg Jackson said, no, who's Shavlik Randolph Garden? You go outside and dribble the ball.
And Randolph is talking to Worley.
Yeah, well, he can talk to him, but that doesn't stop him. Now what can he do?
Worley takes the jumper over him and hits it.
You know what he did? He backed off and didn't guard him, so Worley said, I'll just pull up and take a jump shot.
28-26 Blue Devils.
When you're the #1 seed, you don't want to have to change your defensive strategy, but Duke may have to do it.
Nelson, ugly three, and here come the Hornets.
Okay, and they'll look out here and say, okay, who is Shavlik Randolph Garden? As soon as they find that out.
Back over here with Broadus.
Yep, here he is. Okay, now everybody open up a lane, get out to the far corners, play a little four-corner, and there's Shavlik Randolph has no chance to guard him.
Williams drives in, charge called, take away the basket. Now there's your Carolina fan.
Oh, absolutely.
You talked about.
Absolutely. Can you remember the Final Four in which the fans went against Duke? Remember, we could sense it in the arena.
That was in Minneapolis.
Absolutely.
Minneapolis against Maryland.
That's right. Shane Battier, the whole deal. The Duke always gets all the breaks. Tonight we have a Carolina fan base who really is rooting for the team in red.
Aaron Williams down with 3 fouls. His time basket taken away with a charge. Melchione short on the 3. McClure, who has come in, tie up, arrow, Hornets. Delaware State ball. David McClure has come in. He's a freshman from Ridgefield, Connecticut.
And this Duke team has had their share of injuries. McClure had to sit down with a knee problem.
Delaware State in the red and Duke the #1 seed in a fight that no one saw coming.
Now it's McClure, the chosen one. Can you stop dribble penetration? Nobody stopped Shine yet.
Shine drives in. Worley's underneath. Worley ties the game at 28.
Shine is hurt a little bit.
Back on his feet. You know, one thing about Delaware State, every kid on that team can handle the ball.
Well, they certainly can, because what they're doing is taking the best matchup for dribble penetration and utilizing it.
Ewing open, top of the key, 3. Good.
Duke's executing fairly well on the offensive end. They just can't get things done. Shine really got hurt. Shine, Ewing. Ewing ought to be able to stay with him. But Ken Reddick, I doubt it.
This is Broadus, who's really their 9th man. They brought in 4 reserves. They've all performed at a high level. Broadus takes the shot over Reddick. And Melchione clears for Duke.
Now that's the second time they've pulled up, because what the Duke defender's doing, instead of trying to play aggressive on the ball, he's backing up and giving up the jump shot.
Dockery, who hit 2 early threes, not this time. McClure, the freshman, keeps it alive. Snapping it back inside and back out again. Melchione delivers.
Terrific passing.
Timeout call, Delaware State. First time Duke with a little flurry since the opening minutes. And the Devils are in front by 6. To this point in the NCAA tournament, the better seeds are 19-5. We had North Carolina State in the afternoon, a 10 beat a 7 Charlotte. And I know this is what you've been talking about,
What's
Billy.
that ring out to?
That's the number 1.
So 0 is what the number 1s and the 16s have been. Someday, we said this earlier today, someday it will happen.
You didn't say it just earlier today. You've been saying it all week. I don't know if it's a premonition, but you've been saying someday it's going to be an incredible scene when a 16 finally does it.
They pecked out Reddick. Now what Reddick's done is played, instead of aggressive on the ball, he's backing up. That means he's going to give up the jump shot.
Got Shine on the bench for the Hornets, and Worley almost lost it. 2 on the shot clock, and Duke with a big defensive stand that time.
You're not going to break down Ewing, so that was a mistake by Delaware State, one of the few that they've made in this first half. They need to pick out Williams now. Williams got 2 fouls on him. Fleetwood has had success with Williams. I'm surprised they don't bring Fleetwood back out to get the ball.
Delaware State's gotten 12 points from off the bench, including from this young man, Bruce Davis, who's a senior from Newcastle, Delaware, and he's on the line.
A different half-court strategy that time for Delaware State, and it didn't work out as well.
Then a little bit of a ragged patch for the Hornets, who have electrified the crowd in Charlotte. This is action tracking to the Austin bracket, but we're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it has been quite a start here for number 1 seed Duke and feisty Delaware State. Jim Nance with Billy Packer. We've seen Delaware State at one time go on an 11-0 run and even take the lead inside the 10-minute mark on mighty Duke. And here they come out with the rebound. Fleetwood has it in the corner.
Good job by Fleetwood in that matchup zone that time. Ewing wasn't prepared to shoot, and when he left him, he didn't have his legs to get the range.
And Shine is back on the floor, Billy.
Here's a very dangerous situation for Duke right now. Williams with 2 fouls.
Melchione almost able to strip it away.
Roundtree, the superior ball handler to Melchione's defense.
Dockery reaching around, no call. Davis to the corner. 5 on the shot clock, and Davis for the 2nd straight trip is on the line.
Yeah, he was out of bounds when he curled back in.
Final 2 minutes of the first half, and Duke in quite a fight here in Charlotte.
Davis had 4 for 5 threes against Illinois, had 15 points, so he's not going to be in awe of this Duke pressure. Illinois with the 3 great guards. There's a hold there on Reddick.
Call against Delaware State, and called.
It's Blunt, I believe.
Yep, it is Blunt. That is now, they're in the double bonus, so that'll put Mr. Automatic at the line. Reddick, all-time free throw shooter in college basketball history.
And ended up number 1 in the ACC in free throw shooting, and he was not in the number 1 position for a good portion of the season, which is kind of amazing since he's the all-time career leader in the whole nation.
We talked about that during that North Carolina regular season finale, trying to become one of the rare guys to ever lead the conference in scoring and free throw shooting in the same season. And he pulled it off. Reddick one more time at the line.
And what did he go tonight? Almost 9 minutes before he took his first shot in this ball game.
Well, he went 11 minutes before he scored.
Yep. Okay, Shine match up with Ewing.
Delaware State has turned it over its last 4 trips.
I think it was a smart move by Mike Krzyzewski with 1:27 to go to get Sheldon Williams out of the game. Not picking up another one of his cheap fouls, which would have given him 3.
Looking for big minutes here from Reggie Love, who's defending right here. Drive in. Great move. Doesn't fall. And it's Love pulling it away.
Love, the young man from Charlotte who had broken foot problem and had to sit out a number of games this year. Back in action.
Coach K tonight can tie Dean Smith for the all-time number of wins by a coach in the NCAA tournament. Coach Smith 65 and Coach K looking for that number tonight.
He keeps piling up statistics. This year he became the winningest coach after 30 years of coaching in the history of college basketball. Dean Smith had held that record at 717.
He's moved 2 wins past that number.
Here we have Williams back in the game for the offensive end of the floor. Good block.
Blunt had a hand on it and a tie-up. Now the Arrows Dukes.
So Williams will stay on the floor. He's playing on the offensive end. Down 47 seconds left on the clock, but only 9 on the shot clock.
This was a rule that was altered in recent years, and I like it. You don't penalize the defensive team for making a play. So it's not a fresh 35 for Duke, just 9 seconds.
Right, now here you have Shine on Reddick. Look for a screen on Reddick. Try to get him free in this 9 seconds to get off the jump shot. Melchione's going to screen Shine. Here he comes.
Reddick way out there.
Wow, that was a long shot.
And a long rebound out to Davis.
Last shot. Now they'll just hold it for the last one.
Just about a 5-second differential. But Delaware State's gone a while here without doing anything.
And now if you're Williams, you do not want to go out there and guard Roundtree. Stay back in there because you don't want to pick up that 3rd foul.
Fleetwood. Nelson in his face. Shine in the lane. Shine blocked. That's Williams with the block. Duke has time. 7 seconds up the floor. They've got the numbers. But the ball squirts loose. Duke ball. 3.6 seconds.
Couldn't get the ball back to Ewing on that break to have a ball handler handling it. Dockery out of the game, so you had Nelson and Melchione. Not the guys you want in the open floor handling the ball.
Reddick with 2 seconds. Reddick gets it away. And Duke up in Delaware made the proclamation that today was Delaware State Day in the great state of Delaware. And have they ever performed here as we start the second half?
Jim, see the strategy I'm talking about? You see where Williams was? He backed way off. Did not go out and try to play that defense.
Ball is loose. They took it away from Davis. Williams chases it down, and a foul called against the Hornets. It's called on Shine. So they backed off Williams. Didn't have him come out all the way near midcourt. Ewing was on the floor.
I thought that was a foul going for the loose ball. It's kind of interesting in the foul shooting. Duke was 10 for 12. Delaware State only 1 for 2, so 9 more points there and 5 more threes than Delaware State. So that's 15 points, 9. That's where the story of this game is for Duke being in the lead.
Terrence Hunter defending here on Shad Randolph. Hunter set much of that first half with a couple of fouls. And another call against the Hornets. J.J. Reddick, it took a while for him to get going, but he scored 7 points toward the end of that first half.
That's the possession where he was trying to beat the clock, and here he's trying to beat the clock right at the end of the half. He was upset on that charge call, but I think the referees were all over it.
Bruce Davis whistled for that foul, and Williams for Duke with 1 more.
So we see a change in strategy defensively by Mike Krzyzewski, and I think he will employ that strategy. Now what it means, however, is that you're going to be able to take off a few seconds, maybe even go down to 12 seconds before you initiate your offense. So that means it will not be a run-shoot type game. Roundtree looks and sees who's guarding him. He sees it's Williams. Here's a little bit of trapping defense now. But look at where Williams is, all the way back at the foul line. He is not coming out like he did in the first half.
On the shot clock.
And you can see how much more compact now the defense is.
Roundtree wants to challenge inside, and he draws the foul, gets the hoop.
That's the 3rd on Williams.
This basket breaks a 5-minute, 58-second field goal drought for Delaware State, and yes, indeed, 3 on Sheldon Williams.
And no question about the foul.
Troy Roundtree from Philadelphia. Again, his father, graduate of this school, and still ranks 4th all-time on the school rebounding list. James Roundtree unable to finish the three-point play. 37-30 Blue Devils.
But he picked up something right there, and that is the 3rd foul on Williams. That could be very important.
Lobbing it inside, dangerous pass. Fortunate to keep possession. Ewing working on Shine. Reddick shot blocked. And this is going on Randolph. That's number 3 on Shav Randolph.
Didn't get there in time. I'm surprised Reddick didn't use his pump fake, realizing that the bigger man was coming out on him.
So Billy, in the first 90 seconds of the second half, both Williams and Randolph collected a 3rd.
Well, Duke doesn't need to go with 2 bigs against this team. So I think what you'll see Mike Krzyzewski playing with 1 big if there's any more foul trouble. And here again, you see where Williams is on the foul line. He's not coming out to play Hunter like he did in the first half. Shine, who's beating everybody.
Pinned in the corner, 7 on the shot clock. Hunter gets it back out.
Did you hear Reddick holler? No foul, Shell. He understands how many fouls he's got on him.
Roundtree, that was in and out, and pulled away by Dockery.
Good defensive balance by Delaware State.
And Ewing up and over the backboard, but you're looking at Sean Dockery returning to action tonight. He's running, it looks like, almost to me, full speed.
Oh, yeah, I don't see any noticeable drop off at all in regard to his ability athletically to get up and down the floor or to guard people. And again, this game is going to have a slow pace to it because Duke has dropped all the way back, not putting pressure on the ball.
From the corner, Davis off on the 3, but Hunter gets it right back. Roundtree wide open. And Randolph clears.
Nice weak side rebound by Shavlik Randolph that time.
Duke has gone now 6.5 minutes without a basket. They had that long stretch, too, in the middle stages of the first half.
Jim, it's straight man-to-man now by Delaware State.
Dockery.
Well, he has been in good shape. There's a push off by Shavlik Randolph. Another cheap foul.
Number 4.
He's going to have to come out of there, and now Duke will go smaller with Melchione.
Melchione takes his spot.
And what it is a matter of quickness getting to the ball. Shavlik Randolph not getting there against the smaller men. And when he gets there late, he pushes off. Dockery's got a tough job right now on Shine. Watch the clock go down right now. And you can see, good job by Coach Jackson saying, we'll play the clock right here. We're still in this ball game down 7.
Roundtree would love to get number 4 on Sheldon Williams.
Looks like he wants to go completely right.
Takes it right to him. And coming out with it, Davis. Tough pass, but Shine able to snag it away from Ewing.
There they go back for the stretch. Little 4 corners. It's the version of the 4 corners which John McClendon really, even before Dean Smith, employed.
And again, John McClendon, the Hall of Famer, the legend at North Carolina Central. And that's where Greg Jackson used to be the coach. Outside jumper. Davis put back quickly. 2 offensive boards for Davis, and looked like he was in between going right back up or kicking it out.
And Reddick was lucky there, Jim. What he did, he blocked out and didn't go for the ball, and that allowed Delaware State to have an open rebound.
Keone, he'll take it to the paint, and that's the first field goal of the half for Duke.
Pretty good decision by Melchione. Left wide open. He normally will take the shot as opposed to dribble, but nobody was there, so he took it to the hole.
Gotta think Hunter might have a big half, as he was really saddled with the early fouls and not effective in the first half. With Delaware State
only took 1 shot.
3-pointer, not this time for Blunt. Up ahead, breaking, Sheldon Williams. Look out.
That is going to be intentional because of the grab. Not a defense defensive play, so Williams will get 2 shots and the ball.
Bruce Davis is third, and a big break point here for Duke. Will shoot free throws and have possession when we come back. Duke 9 in front, and Billy, Coach K and his efforts this season, not recognized as the coach of the year in the conference, but you even have higher regard for what he did this year than just this single season, comparing it to other teams in this conference this season.
I'm not going to take away from the fact that he does have good basketball players, but what he faced in regard to adversity this year with guys getting hurt, no bench to start off with, picked preseason 4th in the league, which had teams that were of Final Four caliber. I think that what he did and the way he got his team prepared to play and the mindset, I think it was the finest coaching job I've seen in the Atlantic Coast Conference in all the years I've been down here.
Boy, that's saying a lot. And I know you feel that way. And remember, Williams, it's 1 of 2 breakaway foul calls, so Duke will also have possession, and they've got the double-digit lead.
But tonight, I thought he was a little stubborn in this ball game for about 10-12 minutes. He's changed his defensive strategy in the second half, but he went a long time going out there to try to prove the point that they could stop that dribble penetration, and they never were able to.
Duke has its largest lead of the game, 12. So the Blue Devils opening it up a little bit. Largest lead of the game. This game was tied with 5 minutes to go in the half. Duke scored the last 8 of the half. And now Delaware State with only 2 points here in the second half.
Now, Jim, the pressure goes on Coach Jackson. If they're going to pull back this defensive strategy, is he going to go ahead and realize he's got this clock eventually working against him?
Sheldon Williams takes it away. Ewing's in the lane. And a foul call against Delaware State. Near the end of every NCAA tournament game, we select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team to honor their determination and outstanding play. Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Chevy's an American revolution. That's the second foul called on Blunt. So we've got senior Daniel Ewing at the line.
And Duke, once again, and this has been part of every great coach's strategy, get to that foul line. And when you can get there more than your opponents, more than likely it's going to be an advantage they can't offset unless there's some out of the area. They've had 154 more free throws than their opponents this year.
You know, Billy, you look up at the board. We are already 6 minutes into the second half. Delaware State, going back to the first half, in the last 11 minutes has scored only 2 points.
And a reason for that, this change in defensive strategy by Duke. You see Williams standing at the foul line, not going out there as they did in the first half, aggressively playing the dribbler. Bad shot.
Play. Forced that one. Roundtree, though, gets it back out to Shine and a reset.
And see, when Williams is back in as he is, that takes away, even if you do dribble penetrate, you got the great shot blocker playing the paint.
Now hold call on Dockery. And that's the 4th team foul on Duke. Delaware State to inbound. Delaware State coming out of, again, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. They won their tournament. They won the regular season. And it's a conference that has had a moment, a big moment in the NCAA tournament when Coppin State back in '97. 15 beat 2. South Carolina.
Good no call.
This time a call. And it's going against Blunt. Don't miss a minute of March Madness. Get live video to all games outside your viewing area. Watch live press conferences. You can access archives of games you missed. Find it at ncaasports.com or cstv.com. I was talking about this conference, Billy, and there's a real rich heritage of players that maybe a lot of people aren't aware of came out of the MEAC. Melchione.
Oh, Nelson, so big inside for a man that's so small.
Duke's on a roll now, Billy.
Yeah, they are. And again, now the clock starts to work against the strategy that Delaware State has employed. Everybody's backing off these dribblers now. Williams will not go out after Roundtree. So what is plan B?
That basket by Nelson off offensive rebound. Only their second offensive board of the evening. Roundtree underneath. Blocked by Williams.
You can see the difference. Now that he is in the paint, when he starts out defensively, he's there to stop penetration or inside play. He being Williams, the outstanding shot blocker.
He's got 4 blocks. He's on the blocks. Oh, and that one bounces out.
Duke's starting to live on the foul line. Jim, you were talking about, and I know we want to give this some thought. Morgan State, Marvin Webster. I was thinking about the all-time conference team. Tarvis Williams, Hampton, and remember the great game that he had in the great tournament. Bobby Dandridge at Norfolk State. The great Al Attles at North Carolina A&T. He, along with Cleo Hill, were 2 of the great players that ever played down in this part of the country. And, you know, a guy that got a lot of abuse lately, but was one of the really great players and the college level that never got credit back in those days. And that was a guy named John Chaney, who played for Bethune-Cookman, went from Philadelphia down there, and was truly an outstanding ball player.
Williams to shoot one more. Billy talking about his all-MEAC team through the years. Oh, Nelson almost got another one stuck in there. 4 fouls, by the way, now on Blunt.
Look at Sheldon Williams down inside. Oh, Melchioni with a block.
Fleetwood has it back. They just can't hit a shot. 1 out of 14 and a half.
That's because this man right here, Sheldon Williams, is so strong and in such great shape. But he was 30 feet from the basket most of the first half, and that's not where he operates best.
Nelson lost it on the drive. And they're going to have a break. Duke on a 10-0 run.
It's only little on the outside. Meet the surprisingly big Chevy Aveo with the surprisingly big 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty and a best-in-class 5-star frontal crash safety rating.
Greg Gumbel in New York. We'll get you back to Charlotte in just a moment. First of all, in Nashville, the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana, Lafayette, and Louisville. It's a 51-49 lead for the Cardinals. Still plenty of time. 7:19 to play in the second half. The winner of that game gets the winner of Georgia Tech and George Washington. Meanwhile, in Worcester, Vermont and Syracuse, Taylor Coppenrath, the big gun for the Catamounts. Watch him underneath. And it's a 47-45 Vermont lead. We'll keep you updated. Let's get you back to Charlotte. Jim Nance and Billy Packer.
So after a missed free throw by Nelson, 13 straight misses from the field in this half by the Hornets.
Hunter wants the ball down inside on Melchioni. They can't get him the ball. He's got good position. They just can't get him the post pass. There it is.
Fade away, doesn't go. And Williams is fouled on the shot. Tuesday, the Amazing Race. Teams must navigate a river maze to find an old shipwreck. And a tough riding challenge takes a dangerous turn. It's a new Amazing Race. That's Tuesday at 9, 8 Central. You know, back again, 5 minutes to go in the half. This game was tied at 28. Duke, since that time, in a 13-minute span, including that one free throw, 19-3.
Yep, that's only their 3rd point in the second half.
3rd since 5 minutes to go in the half. First half.
And now you've got Randolph in there. What strategy Mike Krzyzewski's employing now? He puts Williams down, Randolph in, so that he doesn't have 2 guys out there to pick up fouls. Nelson, good hit ahead, gives Redick the open look. He hadn't had many of those tonight.
Follow up by DeMarcus Nelson.
Young man who came alive in the North Carolina game this year with 16 points. Can really explode from the weak side. He's a hard guy to block out, a slashing rebounder.
We've seen that on the offensive end in this half. Doing it better than anyone. Fleetwood, turnaround, tipped out to Redick.
And there again, you see Shavlik Randolph not having to play the man 25 feet from the basket. Does a nice job when the ball comes to him.
Even with Duke's dominance in this half, Redick has not scored in the second half. They haven't needed it. Nelson.
He loves to go inside, doesn't he?
Yep. Randolph back on the floor with 4 fouls.
Well, they let him play till he gets the 5th because it's not really important. You got Williams not only staying out of foul trouble, he's going to come back in a little bit, but he's getting a nice rest here.
Hornets with 15 straight misses, 16. They hit the first shot of the second half. Their first attempt was made by Roundtree, and now they've gone 9 minutes, more than 9 minutes without a basket.
Nice piece of dribbling by Ewing to beat the double team in the backcourt. Somebody's going to be open here.
Melchione steps back from the wing for a 3.
Shoots much better when he's going forward on his jump shot, Jim. You pointed that well out. He stepped back on it. That shot is not as favorable to him as when he's moving towards the basket.
From 54% first half to 6%. 1 in this half. 1 out of 16.
Look at where the Duke defenders are, all inside the three-point line.
Worley, there you go, 3. He's had a nice game, Tracy Worley, the freshman from Philadelphia.
Shine now on Nelson. Shine may be able to pick this ball off.
Randolph. Dunk. Chad Randolph pointed out to a timeout call, though, before the inbounds pass by Coach K.
No chance for Worley to stop a 6'10" man coming right at him.
Blue Devils.
Vermont with the chance to play giant killer. And Tom Brennan calls a timeout. Take a deep breath. Here we go.
Clock stopped at 15 seconds. We'll get you back for the finish of this game. Back to the game you were watching.
We'll keep you posted on the final seconds of that thriller. But we're back here, 8:48 to go. Duke has not turned over the basketball in the last 20 minutes. Only 3 turnovers for the game. How about, though, what's going on? There are some thrillers out here tonight. Vermont and Syracuse coming down to the wire. Let's send it back to Greg.
Once again, back to Worcester for the last 15 seconds of Vermont-Syracuse tied at 51.
Second half. Get complete game stats at CBSSportsline.com. So here we go, 15.1 to go. Vermont with the basketball. Shot clock turned off. Vermont 1 timeout. Koppenrath, Payne, Sorrentine, Mopagila, Klamesh. They give it to Koppenrath. Mopagila drives. And it won't count. He stepped on the baseline with 3.7 to go.
Take a look at a beautiful drive on the baseline, and right there his left foot touches it. He had enough room to avoid it, but a tough luck situation for Jermaine Mopagila.
Syracuse calls timeout. 3.7 to go.
Return you to your game and be back for the last 3.7 seconds. Vermont and Syracuse are tied at 51.
A thunderous dunk here. Follow-up dunk by Sheldon Williams. And the Devils are back ahead by 18. With 8 minutes left. Nifty move, Aaron Williams, but unable to finish it.
I thought McClure got a piece of that. Williams down on the floor. Nice piece of officiating here, stopping it.
It's 18 here. Let's send it back to Greg.
Again, 13th seed Vermont, 4th seed Syracuse, tied at 51 in Worcester. Let's rejoin Gus Johnson and Len Elmore for the final 3 seconds.
And recognizing 3.7 seconds, you got to figure that a pass or a bounce of the ball will take up a second. So you got to be cognizant of what combination of those you make before you take the shot.
Warwick to Roberts. McNamara's got a, hey, it's up! And we're heading to overtime. Whoa. 51.
We'll keep track of overtime. Meanwhile, Vermont and Syracuse go to OT tied at 51. Back to your game.
Well, how about that? McNamara on the run. Had a chance to pull a little like U.S. Reed. I'm going back years ago. Made one on the fly like that, and it's way out, in fact, near midcourt. But they're going to overtime in that one. Duke looking now back down the road a little bit to Sunday. Second round certainly in sight now for the Devils, and the next round will be taken on either Mississippi State or Stanford, who will take the floor after this one. Billy, there is a wrenching story around this Delaware State team, and it revolves around head coach Greg Jackson's oldest son, Greg Jr., who is afflicted with sickle cell anemia, and he is going to have a major procedure this summer in June. He's going to have a blood transplant, and there's his younger brother Justin. It's a cord blood transplant from his brother Justin, who's just 4. Greg Jr. is 17, and that operation is going to take place, in fact, at Duke University. Coach Jackson in 2001 lost his wife. She suffered a stroke just a short while, just months after his youngest Justin was born. And at that time, they were already thinking, after Justin was born, about going ahead with this procedure. And then suddenly, his wife Janice passed away, died in his arms, had a seizure in their backyard. He said, I couldn't bear to go through that with Greg, only 12 at the time. But now the whole family has been told this is the time, and in June they'll have that procedure. And gosh, our thoughts and best wishes and blessings with Coach Greg Jackson and his family, and of course Greg Jr. Young kid who has been a source of inspiration for this team. When they got to the last seconds of that MEAC final, they went to the huddle with seconds to go, and instead of drawing up a play, the team said, let's not do that, let's just pray. They prayed, and they went out, hit the shot at the buzzer to advance to the NCAAs for the first time.
Hunter on the foul. Williams had the open line to the basket. Duke living on that foul line right now, and there's not much that Delaware State can do to change things around at this point, but they certainly put on a tremendous show, Jim.
Boy, did they ever.
So we're now at 0-84, but that day will come, and we saw signs of it in that first half. Someday, one of those 16s will win one of these games.
We had 2 ones over 16s yesterday by margins of 11 and 12, and then Carolina today wins in its game by 28 against Oakland here on this floor late in the afternoon.
McClure gets out. Nice.
Recovered, put back, and he'll head to the line. Let's check the CBS Sportsline stat of the game, and its field goal percentage in this half. They made the adjustment, the Devils, defensively. Delaware State's hit only 2 from the field in the half, and you can get complete game stats at CBSSportsline.com. I want to talk about a moment yesterday when Coach K and his team were on the floor practicing. And I tell you, they're open practices, folks, at the NCAA tournament. Always the day before the first-round games, the day before the Sweet 16 games, and the day before the Final 4 games. It's free. You can come to the arena, and I think it's one of the real great things about, and I think largely unknown about the tournament. But if you were here yesterday to watch Duke and the focus that they exhibited in 1 hour on this floor, Billy, I know you've seen a lot of things, and it takes a lot to impress you. That was something maybe you said you've never seen in your life.
Oh, absolutely. Great concentration, great organization. You didn't have to be a basketball coach or fan to enjoy it. You could have been a businessman and enjoyed that. To see a team walk out on the floor with everybody on the same page, knowing what they're supposed to do at 100% effort. They had already practiced earlier down in Durham. So it's not like they needed to come here and just get loose again. A walk, and I don't know about that. Williams pretty good at holding his feet on the ground.
Looked like it might be a basket and a foul, but they take it away with the traveling violation. Fleetwood back in. That's the first Duke turnover in 22 minutes on the clock.
And Jim, you know when that started to become popular, people coming out, was in 1974 up in Greensboro, North Carolina, in the Final 4. people came out and they wanted to see UCLA and a guy named David Thompson.
Beautiful three by Blunt. You're talking about coming out for the open practice.
That's right.
What was that like?
Oh, it was unbelievable. People came to the Greensboro Coliseum. The officials actually couldn't even believe that what are all these people doing here, but it's a free day. And I would say if you're a fan of basketball, it's a great thing to watch.
And that'll be, again, open to the public next week in Albuquerque, Chicago, Syracuse, and Austin, as well as St. Louis on the Friday. 6 minutes to go in this game as Duke owns the second half.
Bad pass by Nelson. He had to throw that ball with a little higher arc, and he had Williams for a layup.
Shine. Worley, basket.
Worley had the great first half, 4 for 4. But everything slowed down for this team in the second as Duke changed their defensive strategy. Made it very difficult to get anything working.
Ewing spins away and some nifty ball handling behind the back. He'll pull it back out.
Blunt on Reddick. Reddick has not been able to get many good looks in this ball game. Has been patient. Here's an example. He has not had wide open shots.
And Nelson on the line. Duke brings in Dockery and Melchione. Reddick 1 for 7 from the field. All three-point attempts.
We're talking about a young man that came off having one of the great shooting nights of all time. 7 of 12 threes against NC State for 35 points, which set a new Duke record for ACC tournament play, where Reddick beat Ronnie Myers 34 points.
Davis back on the floor for the Hornets.
But he has been quiet tonight. Good defense against him.
It's Roundtree. He'll take it, top of the key, and he hits it. That's a three.
Well, that was a shot that Duke decided in the second half that Delaware State could have. Roundtree finally takes advantage.
By the way, it's a little 8-0 run here for the Hornets.
And one of the things that Delaware State has also done a fine job, no matter where Reddick is, even if they have somebody else that's got a better situation, Delaware State never lets him go. They stay right in his chest.
And that's a foul call on Fleetwood.
I guess Sheldon Williams probably said, you know, you did this to me the whole first half. Let me go outside and show you what it's like to be beaten off the dribble.
That'll send Williams back to the line. And again, Williams, he gets a lot of tries from that line. He had some matchup against Sean May, didn't he, in that regular season final? Incredible.
Unbelievable. May having, as Mike Krzyzewski said, one of the great individual days of any player that's ever played against him. And he has faced some good ones in his coaching career.
May with the 24 rebounds in the game. You just don't see numbers in rebounding like that at this level.
This is the pair, and they can bring it down a little more.
Yeah, this could get interesting here.
A lot of time left. And Duke hasn't been able to unleash Redding because Blunt has been all over him. Wow, why that shot? Oh.
And last touch by Delaware State is going to Duke.
You know, that was not a good shot by Blunt at all. They can get the ball down inside. You've got Worley, who's had the hot hand. Roundtree, who also has got a good chance to get off a decent shot. You just don't give up a possession like that.
Melchione roaming free. He'll spit it back out. Last touch by Delaware State. The lead was 20 for Duke in this half. Well, you look now at the percentages for the game. Delaware State hitting some shots here in the last couple of minutes to bring back a little hope. Worley with 13 leading their cause, and he is a perfect 6 for 6 from the field.
It was 4 for 4 in that first half. The team shot 54% and then got down to a woeful percentage in the first 10 minutes of this second half. And as you say, Jim, picking it back up here, but the clock working against him, because what we'll see Duke employ now is pulling this thing back outside.
You see J.J. Redick, his season low, 8 points, and he has 7 to this point.
He's got Roundtree on him right now.
Over the top, and Roundtree says you'll have none of that.
Roundtree did a great job there because he switched off of Reddick with Blunt and still came up with a play.
So again, the Hornets to reset on an 8-0 run. You got to love the effort here tonight by Delaware State in its first ever NCAA tournament. Duke has been shut down for the last 5 minutes without a field goal.
What's the last thing Coach Jackson told us yesterday? Our guys will play hard and never quit.
I promise you that.
Right. And I would say he was right on the money. A man of faith right there. And he did a great job with his game execution, his strategy as to how he wanted his team to play. Very thorough. And you would have to believe, Jim, although this is their first trip to the NCAA, it will not be the last time we'll see this man in NCAA tournament play.
And you can see it now on the top of your screen at home. Vermont has shocked Syracuse in overtime. It has just gone final. McNamara had a 3-point try with just 3 seconds remaining. He missed. And Syracuse, that's the shocker of the tournament to this point.
How would you like to win the Big East tournament in 3 games on one weekend and be knocked out of the NCAA tournament less than a week later?
Willie, that is a great example of how much energy did you expend to win it, and now you got to turn around and really try to regroup in the event that your whole season's about.
Jim, not only the energy to win it, but then to come down from winning it, particularly a Syracuse team that this year had not shown that they could beat the upper end teams in the Big East.
What a story. Syracuse is out, and Vermont advances. Fleetwood off the mark with that one, and Duke pulls it away again.
Nice rebound by Melchioni.
We have had no points scored on either side in over 2 minutes.
And you know Blunt is staying right with Reddick. He's taken some pride in the fact that he shut him down tonight, and he wants to make sure he doesn't get anything easy at the end. This could be the all-time season low for Reddick tonight.
Dockery denied on the way in. Let's see if the Hornets had a couple of trips to try to cut into that 12-point deficit. Shine able to save it. Kid out of Augusta. Kicks it back out. Roundtree to get it to 9.
Oh, yes, he got fouled.
This could be down to 8.
He got fouled. He will get 1. Could be a 4-point play. That was a smart play by Roundtree. Did you see when he caught the ball, he stepped back behind the line, had a great feel for it, didn't even have to look down. Nice job on his part.
And that's the 4th foul on Williams. Williams comes crashing in on him, and a chance for the rare 4-point play, and to bring it to 8 with 1:44 remaining.
Smart play by Roundtree, stepping back beyond the 3 line. Young man has had a fine game on both ends of the floor.
Ooh, that ball bounced around. A couple of Hornets were in the area, whirling in that bunch, but Duke takes it with 1:35 to go.
See, Blunt, no matter what happens, no matter where the ball goes. Good catch, Jim.
I didn't mean to take it away from you.
And Blunt comes over here to make sure that ball doesn't go to Reddick. He thought maybe you'd pass it to him, Jim.
I was just trying to save you. That was headed for your head.
Oh, no.
Tried to take one for my teammate.
You know, the pride of defense is something you like to see what Blunt is doing out there right now. And the fact that he does not want Reddick to touch that ball and has done a terrific job keeping him away from it all night long.
Daniel Ewing with one more. The winningest player in college basketball right now is at the line, and he hits them both. 113 wins, and he's 90 seconds away from making that 114 victories in his 4-year career, and that breaks the 11-0 run.
Not many guys get to play 100 games.
That's true. That's right. Shine on the drive. Oh, Shine a couple of times. Boy, he can really penetrate.
I remember that one in the first half, which is a wide open basket. Didn't go down for him.
Time 1 for 6 from the field. We have under a minute to play.
Duke's a little disorganized here in an offense. Yeah, in an offense they like to run, but the ball in the hands of the wrong players.
The Chevy MVPs, Tracy Worley, perfect from the field, coming off the bench, giving him a 13-point boost. Sheldon Williams for Duke.
Oh, you hear the Carolina fans now. Even though Duke wins the game, the Carolina fans are screaming overrated.
This is going to be an incredible scene on Sunday and an impossible ticket, as Duke and Carolina will be in the same building playing in the same session. They were separated by tickets too today. You had to have a session 1 ticket to see Carolina in the daytime, Duke in the afternoon or in the evening, and they'll both be here on Sunday. It will be electric. The Blue Devils advance to the second round. Coach K joins Dean Smith with 65 tournament wins. And a great effort by Delaware State. Let's go to Greg.